Today, I want to look at the stated mission and language of the French Bulldog Foundation of America. Their message is framed around three words: include, improve, inspire. According to the organization, its focus is on advocacy, resources, education, research, and advancing French Bulldog health through inclusive programs. The foundation states that it is dedicated to the health, welfare, and longevity of French Bulldogs through scientific research, public education, and advocacy for ethical practices. Their mission also emphasizes functional, healthy conformation and an inclusive approach toward French Bulldogs, including dogs with non breed standard colors or traits. They state support for the AKC Code of Sportsmanship and encourage participation in activities such as performance, agility, functional conformation, and related programs, while avoiding what they describe as show ring politics. Another major part of their stated mission is ethical breeding. The foundation says it promotes breeders who conduct verifiable health testing and screening of both parents, in accordance with or exceeding OFA recommended breed tests. They also describe maintaining a transparent breeder information list that requires certifications from public databases such as OFA and CHIC. They also state an interest in funding studies on breed specific genetics and health conditions, as well as providing grants for health related programs. To be clear, I am not speaking on behalf of the French Bulldog Foundation of America, and I am not presenting this as my position. I am using their own stated language as a starting point for discussion. From there, I want to look at what these ideas mean in practice, what questions they raise, and how viewers interpret this direction for the French Bulldog.
My name is Heather MacPherson, and I decided to go forward with starting this dream of doing a nonprofit that advocates for the health of the French Bulldog. And it puts health as a priority over everything, including showing and ribbons and breed standard and all that. Where I felt like it was something that I was already doing anyway in the crowd pleaser platform. And over, I was getting asked by people, and I was meeting really great people through this that wanted to learn more about health testing and breeding for functional the conformation, and there really wasn't anything out there for it. And if you tried to find it on your own, it could be really overwhelming, and you could get all kinds of different information that was combined with club politics. And so last year, talking with some friends that helped start this, they decided that it was time to do it, and just pretty much got tired of waiting for somebody else to step up and take the lead and put the dogs first. So last December, I incorporated and got this nonprofit started, and right away, Jessica Jenkins over here messages me and she says, "Is this you? Is this yours? I'm on board. Count me in." And I thought about it and I was like, "You know what? Let's invite all the right people that I know care about the same things and collaborate and put great minds together." And now here we are, the French Bulldog Foundation of America. Now we've started this nonprofit and we are the French Bulldog Foundation of America. I think it's going to evolve always. And the whole point of bringing it in with like-minded individuals that have passion and that care and that don't let somebody else's narrative and opinion force them into a box. It's about bringing on board, and we've got, I think, 9 board members at this point, and each one brings something so amazing to the group. We've got people in the veterinary community, we've got people that are in the show world, but it's important to I couldn't do this by myself, and I don't want to. And so I really wanted to make sure that we brought people on board that could help inspire others to navigate their way through ethical breeding and ethical health testing and promoting the breed and why they were important for the breed for bringing their genetic strengths was that if you tried to figure it out the way people were posting on social media, dog is 4 panel, this tested, but they're only talking about a cheek. And that's like to somebody, oh, I don't need to have my child go to a physical to be able to compete in sports because guess what? We did an ancestry.com or we did a 23andMe DNA. No, that's assessing risk for if you're going to develop a disease. It doesn't say what you are right now, and it's not a phenotype, it's a genotype. So it was very confusing to try and navigate that because people would say, oh, my dog is health tested. Well, what does that mean? And if you try and point them to the OFA database, it's like, well, that's great, but it's like looking at a list of Excel and trying to figure out, well, what does this mean? What does I don't know what this rating means. I don't know and you couldn't see the whole picture of the dog. One of the things that we're really trying to do is give a visual that allows somebody to be able to show the health testing behind their dog in ways that are similar to what other countries do, which in England, they have gold, bronze for different levels of what you've done, like spine testing, RFG Boas grading and all that. So there's more to it than just a cheek swab. It's an important part, but it's just like a sliver. And it was really hard to put it in a way that could visualize to people this is what we've done with this dog. This is what we've done with this dog's parents. This is what we've done with their grandparents. This is what we've done with their offspring. And you can show, I think I'm on generation number 5 and 6 of OFA health tested parents that have normal scores. And when I say normal, I don't mean the spine, although I do have that too. We're getting a lot of people on board with the idea of this, that this is a good thing for the dogs, the health testing and the collaboration and being able to verify if somebody is a verified breeder, they're doing their diligence and that they're trying to improve the breed. It doesn't have to be perfect. And it doesn't mean that every single dog needed to be health tested, although I will do that myself. But you have to start somewhere, right? So some of the people that have joined, one lady in particular, absolutely fantastic, is ballistic. It's Trudy Bettinger, and she has over 49 dogs now that have legacy of health certifications that we've issued based on the level of testing that she's done, anywhere from OFA normal to bronze, platinum, all the way up to diamond. And diamond means there's 10 different levels of testing that have been normal that have been verified. Platinum is 8. Let's see, gold is 7, silver is 6, and bronze is 5. And then there's OFA normal where maybe you just got OFA chick and now you're normal. So so we have breeders that, like I said, have got she's been doing this 35 years. She has amazing health test records that really were getting buried in the OFA database. And now we've got some that have just started out. They're on the process of getting these first tests going. And it's nice to be able to that the breeder is doing this at various different levels so that when somebody asks you, "Hey, I'm looking for this dog, can you recommend, can you refer?" And I can say, "Here's our page. This is a nonprofit. There's nothing in it for us. We don't charge people. We don't advertise. It's here for helping people connect and getting the information that they need to make informed decisions that work for them." And I think that this is something that's been sorely needed. And, I see in the next year that we would probably have at this rate, I'm hoping that we're gonna have about 500 people that have joined, and I think that it's completely doable. And I think the potential is there for this to become a really huge movement for the dogs because it is like our motto is include, improve, and you don't need to be affiliated with a parent club to be able to do this or to be a part of it. It's about being a part of something bigger. And that I think it's gonna be huge. No, I think it's gonna be a big thing. I think it's really so in the next 3 to 5 years, I think that this will surpass the membership of the parent club probably by the end of this year. Parent club only has 500 members on their membership directory and a lot of them are deceased or inactive members. And there's maybe at best, and I'm being generous when I say this, there's maybe 350 active members. And that's when you talk about that the breed has now what is it, the number 4 or number has it been 4 or 5 years in a row, the most popular registered in AKC? But 4. So, the last numbers I saw were 101,000 or dogs registered in AKC alone, and think about this worldwide, it's even more, the UK and other countries. If you've only got 350 active people behind the breed, that's what about the rest of the people that are members or that can't be members or that are excluded or purposefully ignored because they aren't adopting the mantra and the standard of a private club? So, if there's a way that we can get that information to them on breeder education, support, how to do the health testing, how to interpret your results, where can you go to get good information? Where can you find studies? Where all of this information and if it's free and it's available and it's inclusive, I think that's gonna be a really powerful thing for this breed, and we don't have to to use the excuse, "Oh, it's a Frenchie."
Well, my name is Sage, and um, I met Heather many, many years ago on Instagram because we both had uh, lilac pied dogs, and so we would always do that hashtag lilac pied. I was doing a lot of the radiographs, but just for me, and I didn't know a whole lot about like Orthopedic Foundation for Animals, and I wasn't really showing dogs. I've been breeding and raising smushy face dogs for around 12 years now. And then I got into the French Bulldogs in around 2018, 2019. And I met Heather. She was like, I don't know why you would be doing the radiographs without submitting them to OFA because, there's a database and, we need more collections of generational data so that we can improve the breed. And I was like, you're onto something. And so from there, we became fast friends, and I started on the campaign of just like trying to promote what Heather had always been putting out on her website. And I think that story, that narrative, says the same for a lot of people that are in your circle now. Heather, they met you, they read a blog, and it motivated them to do more and do right by the breed because it's no mystery that they have a bad rap. Especially through vets, and we've talked about that a lot. The French bulldogs, like they're unhealthy, but we're like, gosh, ours don't seem to be that unhealthy. And through that, we kind of formed a community. About 3 years ago, I started a Facebook group called French Bulldogs with OFA certified parents only because we kind of got tired of just the same cut and paste French Bulldog groups of check out my stud and all the hashtags and the crazy emojis and the fire, and we're like, we need something that's a little more structured around not only the education, but welcoming of helping people out there find the right breeders. And because we were tired of people like getting a bad rap for us as breeders saying, oh, well, you have French bulldogs, they're so unhealthy. Just trying to brick and mortar piece by piece, continue to build the community and pay it forward and lead with kindness and trying to put out a welcoming vibe for people so that the new breeders are met with kindness, but also trying to start them off on the right foot. Unlike like myself, there have been many times where I was met with just, oh, you're the same. I don't consider us the same. I always tell people like we're not extreme preservationists that hate color, and we're not like the extreme exotics, but we're kind of somewhere in between where we're trying to just incorporate everything and be inclusive of everyone. So it's always going to be about the dogs. And for me, this is a veteran. I don't have to work full time. I'm mostly retired at this point, and it's not something that I do because I need the money. I do it because it brings me joy, and it's something like a hobby. I love seeing the puppies. I love being with my dogs. They're really great company. The bonds that you form with them are just unmatchable. So, and to even think and fathom that there's a lot of people out there campaigning to try to stop producing this to particular breed is this frightening, I couldn't imagine not having a French bulldog or like a Boston Terrier in my life. They've changed my life. So Heather brought me in because I guess, we're friends and you really like what I was doing with the group. And I think you thought I would help with the change. Although I'm still trying to figure out where I fit in. We've had some individuals that would like pressure people into it. They're less likely to jump on board when they feel like they're cornered. But thoughtful refinement, yeah, thoughtful refinement of what we're doing and intention is just it's so important with this breed because they're known for a lot of different things that can go wrong. Next 2 years, I think what I would like to see and what I expect to happen would be, well, first of all, I'd love for the new gold standard to be, what we're doing, like Jessica said, with not only the genetic testing, but the OFA, and that when someone starts on their journey to find a French bulldog, they know that they need to be looking for a breeder that does both, instead of just looking for a breeder who does the genetic health testing. So um, I think that is going to become bigger because we saw in like the last 5 years, everybody thought that all there was genetic testing. So that's what I see. Growing a bigger community of people who put their foot down and, demand and expect more from their breeders when they're looking for a French bulldog. And hopefully we'll start to see a turning point with the health on the French bulldogs and they won't have such a bad rap um, of just unhealthy dogs that are always at the vet or aren't living very long. And we want to see these dogs living to their, original expected lifespan, which is around 13 to 15 years. It's really sad when you actually in one of Heather's blogs is a dog should not last as long as a car payment. That's like unacceptable. I mean, but we're seeing that across the board with many of the different breeds and in the AKC. It's unfortunate. So I think through us and people who are trying to change the narrative and trying to do our due diligence in doing right by the dogs, but also keeping in mind that it's also about doing right by the client, by someone who wants this companion. It's more complex than what a lot of people think. They think, oh yeah, we'll just get a dog from a breeder and these are my expectations. We want, to open the door to people starting to ask questions and full transparency and reducing the amount of scammers that are out there. I know that you're adding now reputable rescues. So if someone doesn't want to put forth the amount of money for the upfront costs, which they're expensive dogs, but I mean, it's understandable with the amount of vet bills that we have to put into with all, they're just really difficult breed to breed. So the Southern California French Bulldog Rescue is one that's going to go on the French Bulldog Foundation of America website, and also bringing all these things together. I think that it's going to be amazing to see where we're at in 5 years. I think that something really good's going to happen. A lot of people don't realize that dogs that come from reputable breeders that breed ethically do not end up in rescues because we cherry pick, we hand pick all of the people who our puppies go to. And a good breeder is going to require that you stay in contact with them throughout the life of the dog. I know that my oldest puppies are turning 11, 12 years old now, and they're doing great. None of them are in rescues, and I always require a dog to come back to me if they can't or something changes in their life. That's the way it should be. When a breeder puts their dogs out there and sells them and just disappears, I'm sorry, unfortunately, that's greedy. That's not caring. I can't understand anybody who could raise a creature, anyone, human or a dog, and not want to be a part of their life. It might be fitting to mention RFGs and spine are their pilot studies, so those wouldn't be something you could find in the OFA database. So what I think is great with the value behind the French Bulldog Foundation of America is that we hand verify each breeder that goes into that for legacy of health. So you know that someone from the foundation has put eyes on their testing, because Heather's not going to just give them a point for nothing, like, so I think that there's a lot of value in that. And I love looking through and perusing the studs in there, because I know that someone that I trust has verified everything for me, because it's a lot of work having to like back and forth message people, hey, this testing, that testing.
am Jessica. I'm with I have River City Frenchies and met Heather through Crowd Pleaser. And at my first ABKC dog show, she was there. It was the Nationals, and I super excited to meet you. And I had like just that week come across the foundation social media page. I connected the dots, and then I asked you, and I was thrilled because I haven't been breeding French bulldogs long. And what I could find, it was French bulldogs don't OFA test. There's a lot of information out there about French bulldogs, and a lot of them don't test. So I just thought French bulldogs don't OFA test. I have a golden retriever breeder friend who's like, "Are you going to OFA test?" And I'm like, "I don't think so. I'm not. I don't think you OFA test French bulldogs." And she was like, "I'm pretty sure you OFA test. You should." Oh, I was like, "Oh, I guess you're right." And so I started digging into that, and I'm like, yeah, that does make sense. But it was just part of my learning process in the beginning. And I realized quickly that it is, like you said, it is the total picture. It is for the benefit of the dog. It is the standard, the swab, DNA swab, and the OFA. And now you have, and I even consider, agility. Like, are they physically well? I've considered that part of the total dog. Huge. Um, so anyway, I feel very strongly about it, and I loved the foundation message. Um, so I was on board immediately. And how can I help? And Heather said, "Oh, you can help." Be careful what you ask. Um, and so yeah, it's been a cool, fun journey so far. And I love that it's about the dog, and how can we make our favorite companions healthier and happier. I also love that it's not about getting an A on the report card. It's about how can just we do better next time around, if it's not a perfect grade on the radiograph or whatever the test is. Um, so yeah, I love being here, and I'm thankful and grateful to be a part of a wonderful organization. The original question was, where do you see the future of the foundation? And I think that it's priceless what we are being able to offer breeders. Again, part of my story is being uneducated, mostly because the information wasn't there, not because I didn't want it. I was seeking all the information. It just wasn't, it was hard to find first. So I think first and foremost, education, both the breeder and the buyer of the dog, to know that, just like Sage was emphasizing, this does, just because it's a French bulldog doesn't mean it's not healthy. I mean, I have a French bulldog that runs fast cat and plays fetch, you know? Um,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure she's a Malinois in a French bulldog body. Like, she's not a couch potato. So first and foremost, education, and then second of all, I think our foundation is about health testing. So I felt passionate about being able to offer a clinic, um, and so we just happenstance to be reaching out to some doctors to try to get some educational material, and she hosts clinics. Julia has been wonderful and we're doing our first health clinic this 1 week from today at the ABC Carolina convention. We're getting some wonderful feedback. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a big turnout, which I'm glad for the doctor because she's, taking the time out of her day to come do it. She's also going to be doing a clinic in July for a show down in South Carolina. I think this is an important part of what we're doing. Like, we're not just talking about it, and we are bringing it. And a lot of times it's about cost. I know Heather has talked about some of these OFA tests costing, the RFG test, one of them, that one in particular, being hundreds of dollars at the vet's office. If you can go to a show, yeah, show prices are always going to be more affordable. And that's a big barrier for some breeders is cost. So if we can help break that barrier, and it's another, simultaneously offer education, because I know that someone's going to walk by the testing and go, oh, what's that? I've never even heard of that. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, and it's just the start. Like, this was kind of, I mean, because the RFG examiners are so hard to find, there's not one in South Carolina, which is where I am. That's how few and far between these certified doctors are. I think there's what, 7, 8 in North Carolina, 3 in Tennessee. Like, there's not a lot. That's another reason why this was a good, I'm going to say, easy one, because it doesn't require x-ray. But the plan for the future is, I've reached out to some cardiologists for cardiac and echoes, and I hopefully have one set up for the July show. And then there are portable vets with x-ray machines that can do the hips and spine and elbows and stuff. We're going to continue to offer these clinics, and grow them throughout the year, which I'm really excited about, because accessibility and the lower cost and the education, I feel like we're hitting all the check boxes.
Thanks for watching Bulldog Social Club 2. Please like and subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. See you soon.
you.